My name is Lola Salvador Cumi, and today I'm sharing the daily word. The topic is, who's on your prayer list? So let me ask you something. Who's the leader in your life right now that honestly, if you saw their name pop up in a prayer request, you'd scroll right past it? You know the one I'm talking about. The politician, the CEO, the pastor who hurt you, the manager, the government official who seems utterly disconnected from the people they claim to serve, maybe even a church leader who should know better. We're living in a moment where trust in leadership is at an all-time low. According to Gallup, confidence in institutions, government, media, and business has been declining for years. So when the Bible tells us to pray for these people, your honest reaction might be, God, you can't be serious. But Paul was dead serious. In 1 Timothy 2, 1-2 ESV, he explains why. First of all, then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. Now I need you to catch something Paul says, first of all, not eventually, not if you feel led. He said first of all. So before the agenda, before the strategy session, before the pitch deck, before the sermon outline, Paul is requesting intercession for kings, meaning intercession for your leaders and those in authority. This is the first order of business for the people of God. But here's what makes this almost offensive. Paul wrote this letter to Timothy while living under the reign of Nero. Nero, the one who blamed Christians for the burning of Rome, the one who had believers dipped in tar and lit on fire to illuminate his garden parties, the man who executed Paul himself. And Paul says, pray for him. He didn't say protest him or critique him or just cancel him. Basically the equivalent of what we would do in social media today. He said, pray for him. So in this verse, Paul uses 4 words in verse 1. 1 Timothy 2:1. Supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings. But the word I want to pull out is the third one, intercessions. In the Greek, the word entusis doesn't just mean a casual, half-hearted mention before dinner. Historically, the Greek word entusis, intercession, described the act of a citizen approaching a king, not with timidity, but with bold, confident petition. It was an intentional, formal audience before royalty. So Paul is essentially saying, go before the King of Kings with confidence and present the case of the very leaders who may be making your life difficult. This is a power move in the spirit, and it isn't unique to the New Testament. God has always called his people to this, even in the Old Testament. Jeremiah 29:7 NIV. Also, seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. Jeremiah 29:7 NIV. During this time, the Israelites were captives in Babylon, a foreign land, under foreign rulers, stripped of their homeland. And God says, pray for the city. Pray for the leadership of the very system that displaced you. Why? Because your flourishing is tied to the flourishing of the environment you're in. Entrepreneurs, creatives, kingdom builders, you're in a culture right now that sometimes feels like exile. But your assignment isn't just to build within it. Your assignment is to intercede for it. Jesus makes it clear in Luke 23:34 NIV. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. He said this from the cross, while the nails were pierced in, while the crowds mocked, while the leaders who orchestrated his death stood watching. Jesus didn't pray after it was over. He prayed in the middle of the injustice. That is our model. Not praying when it's comfortable, but praying when it costs us something. And here's the reason why any of this even makes sense. Proverbs 21:1 ESV says, the king's heart is a stream of water in the hand of the Lord. He turns it wherever he will. The Hebrew word for turns here is natah, meaning to stretch, to incline, to bend. God doesn't struggle to influence leaders, he bends rivers. The question is whether you are partnering with the one who holds that power through prayer, or whether you're just exhausted and angry on the sidelines. So when you pray for your leaders, you're not endorsing their failures, you're not excusing injustice, you're activating heaven's authority over earthly governance. So if you're an entrepreneur, a creator, a leader yourself, you understand better than most how lonely, how misunderstood, and how much pressure comes with the seat. The leaders you're frustrated with are carrying weight you may not see. That doesn't make everything they do right, but it does make them human. And humans in power without intercession covering them will default to the flesh every single time. So Paul's instruction isn't just personal devotion. It's a strategic kingdom assignment. Your prayer is not a small thing. It's the pipeline through which God's will enters political chambers, boardrooms, and government halls. Here's the challenge I want to leave you with. Write down the name of one leader you have been avoiding in prayer. Could be local, could be national, could be your manager, could be in your own church. And this week, instead of reacting to what they do, intercede for who they could become. Because if God can take a persecutor named Saul and turn him into an apostle named Paul, the one writing this very instruction to us in Timothy 2, then no leader is beyond the reach of prayer. The question isn't whether God can move them. The question is whether you'll show up and ask him to. I pray that the daily word today was a blessing to you. If you would like to partner with Church for Entrepreneurs, go to churchforentrepreneurs.com/partner. If you would like to join our online community, go to churchforentrepreneurs.com. Have a blessed rest of your day.